All right, time now for your Money Watch report. We are looking live at the big board this morning. Stock market going gusto this morning. So 24 hours ago, we were opening the day in negative territory. 24 hours before that, we were as well. But now we are up in positive territory. We'll take it. President Trump's reciprocal tariffs were supposed to go into effect today, but he signed an executive order sort of kicking the can down the road to an August 1st deadline. So let's talk about that and the impacts to you. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger live from New York on what would have been D-Day for the T word. Jill, bring us up to speed. What are you seeing?
Well, right now, there are actually 10% charges on imports from all countries. There's 30% on China, 50% on steel and aluminum, 25% on imported cars. Now, along with the extension to August 1st, the president sent letters to 14 countries, including big trading partners of ours like Japan and South Korea. And he said that those countries are going to face even higher tariffs if they don't reach agreements with the U.S. by August 1st. Now, to be clear, even with the current pause, the actual tariff rate right now, it's at the highest level in almost 90 years. So we don't have to go much higher. This is just fine, thank you.
All right, so let's talk about the impacts to the average American, the person who's wanting to buy an iPhone, the person who is bellying up to the grocery store counter. What are you hearing?
So when you have a tariff, the company that is importing the good is on the hook for that extra charge. Now, the U.S. importer can choose two different routes. They can absorb the extra cost, maybe that would reduce their profit, or they can pass along that extra tariff cost to consumers, and maybe some combination of both. Now, if they do pass along the costs, then prices could rise for those goods. Now, in the first 6 months of the year, we haven't seen tariffs push up the inflation rate. But economists fear that if these levels, even the current levels, remain in place, that we will likely see the inflation rate tick up from today's 2.5% or so to above 3.5%. And according to analysis that we've seen from the Yale Budget Lab, that could cost households almost $2,000 on average. So it's a real number.
Well, you talk about people absorbing the costs. You know, American consumers and voters in the midterms will be thinking about that as well, no doubt. But you know who else is watching? Of course, Fed Chair Jerome Powell. He looks at the worries about inflation, and that influences interest rate decisions, no?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the tough spot that Powell and the Fed find themselves in. I think before we even knew about tariffs, the Fed was really ready to start lowering interest rates even more this year. But now tariffs have this strange double whammy impact. They could potentially raise the inflation rate, but they can also dent economic growth. And that is called stagflation, a stagnating economy with inflation. And I think that fear is really keeping the Fed on the sidelines. They want to see the impact of these tariffs in economic data. I think for those of us who are really watching closely, it's interesting. For you at home, what you need to know is interest rates on credit card balances, auto loans, even mortgages. Those are likely to remain high for the foreseeable future.
That's why homes are not moving quickly in my own neighborhood. Lots of signs, not a lot of movement. Jill Schlesinger, thank you so much. And for our viewers, a reminder, you got a friend in Jill. You can see her regularly on CBS Mornings and the CBS Evening News. She's everywhere. I even hear Jill when I drive in my car on the radio. For more analysis, as always, JillOnMoney.com.